Go on, mate. Video game. Man, I mean, I have to be honest, I haven't played a video game since I was about 8 years old. The Fruit Machine. I used to actually like Galactium as my favourite video game.
I'm a bit of an Xbox man myself, and of course every time you're on a tour bus all you do is play video games. Every time you're stuck in an airport lounge all you do is play video games. And I think the song that people most know us for, and the song that made us, when people like for years didn't know who were the Dub Pistols, who were the Dub Pistols, and then after Tony Hawk's, everybody knows Cyclone. And when we do concerts or festivals, everyone goes, ah, that's the Dub Pistols, because of Cyclone. But since then we've been lucky enough to do Tony Hawk's, Matt Hoffman, Tiger Woods, you know, and for us to do music on a video, I think is you know, on video games is fine. It's not selling your soul like any other thing. It's because it's something every musician and every artist does. Is play video games. So to sit there with your own track on it, it's like, that's brilliant, right?
Are you going to pick another? There you go. I'm going to raffle that sherry. There you got that.
You like blondes, true. Post-punk.
There they were, post-punk.
Post-punk.
Post-punk, I guess.
You say it's one of your...
I was just giving Jason the chance to answer because quite often I speak too much. And most of the time.
Post-punk for me is like bands like Dead Kennedys, things like that, which I used to be into as a kid. I used to be a skateboarder, so I used to listen to a lot of that kind of stuff. Dead Kennedys, Sparrows, you know, all those bands. Public Image Limited, obviously.
And again, probably post-punk. And the reason everyone goes, oh, Dub Pistols, but you're not punk. But punk is a sound and is an ethic, not a sound. And I think from punk sound, that was ideal for that day, for that time. That was exactly what punk needed, was the aggression, the actual. But punk is fusion. Punk is an idea. Punk is emerging and everything. And that's why when I think most people, when you think of the Dub Pistols and the punk side of us, is the fact that we fuse any kind of music that we can together, and we always kick against the grain in terms of what's going on in a pop world. Do you know what I mean? We always, and every time anyone wants to pigeonhole us, and we'll just go off in another direction. And that to me is punk. Punk is an idea of just mashing everything you can together and then coming up with a new sound. It's not an old sound. Post-punk is anything new. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree, mate. Totally right. Got it. Crack.
No, I shake it this time and you pick one. Go on. You've won the lottery.
Soundtrack. Okay. We've done quite a few soundtracks. Probably the favourite one for me was E Tu Mama Tambien, which is a big Brazilian film by Alfonso Cuarón, and we got to work with Molotov in Mexico City, which was brilliant. It was just a fantastic trip. We got to hang out in Mexico, drive sports cars around the city centre at night, work with some interesting...
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, it was definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, going to Mexico and getting phoned up and asked to do this soundtrack was definitely one of the highlights of our career. And like you just said, we went to Mexico City, and whereas a lot of our tracks and music has been used on soundtracks, they've just taken a track and that's it, and they've just placed it wherever they want. For this, we actually got commissioned to write some music. We got to meet some crazy ass fuckers, Molotov, who were massive in South America, but were banned on every radio station over there. The government followed them, and these guys just looked after us, and the first thing they did was bring us a carrier bag full of weed, like this, like a carrier bag, and then they just took us around the city. And probably, if you go to Mexico City and you don't have this guide, then you wouldn't understand it, but these guys showed us Mexico at its finest. So for us, the E Tu Mama Tambien soundtrack was the best, although we've done many, but that was the first time we had the chance to actually work on a soundtrack and make some music from scratch.
That's great.
Lots of peyote.
Peyote.
Pornography. You've been involved in pornography for a long time.
Privately, yeah.
Remixes. Remixes.
It's kind of been like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
No, I think initially when we first started out and Dub Pistols first started out, we were very much about doing music for a dance floor, and we very much came out of disposable beats, if you like. So after we'd built our name up, everybody just asked us to remix, and we started to just do every remix, from which we've done Lily Allen, Ian Brown, Moby, Limp Bizkit, Korn, Bono, anybody you want, we were remixing. But what you realise, and what we realised after a period of time, was that you're only as good as your last record, you're only as good as your last remix. And then suddenly we did 32 remixes back to back, and you realise that you're using all your energy and all your best ideas are suddenly going on remixes. And it could have 3 albums out instead of 30 remixes.
Yeah, right.
So now when we do remixes, we really just choose the record that we want to work with. And I think that's more, even though we loved all the records we did before, I've got to be honest, we did some for the money. Do you know what I mean? I'm just being blatantly honest. When someone says here's £25,000, will you remix this record? You're like,
unless they're Robbie Williams.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, only one of the few people we turned down was Robbie Williams. But honestly, but literally, like I said, yeah, we've done lots of remixes. Many of them we're very proud of. I think we've done a few that we weren't so happy with, and now when we do them, we make sure that it's something that we're really into and want to do. Do you know what I mean? And a project that we want to do. But we have done a lot. You're right. Sex Pistols.
Nick our name.
Plagiarism.
We'll be the Sex Pistols after midnight, by the way. Anyone's interested.
What do you want to know about? What can you say about?
I wasn't
Sex
actually a particularly massive fan of the Sex Pistols. I do like them. I'm more into the Clash, you know what I mean? So,
I was a massive fan. I was a massive fan. And I was a massive fan of the Clash as well. But at the time when the Sex Pistols album came out, it just blew my socks off. And you know, Still Kill Band with God Save the Queen. At that stage in 1977 or whenever it was just a perfect record. So that's perfect. It just set the tone at that time of what was going on. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in England we had miners' strikes. It was just a rebellion and a kick again, and a call into arms for so many people that, you know, at that time he could be seen they were rubbish musicians, but the record was the most perfectly timed record that you could possibly imagine. It was just what the British pop, you know, music industry needed. It's just what the world needed at that time. And Virgin Records, you know, and that was it. You know, and like I said, it was about the attitude. They weren't the best musicians in the world, but they fucking kicked things up properly. So, and they taught everybody else, and I think they've really wrote the book on rock and roll and how you go to do an A&R meeting, how you get money out of a record company, how you you know what I mean, you play the system. Yeah. Malcolm McLaren was a genius at that. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, Malcolm McLaren wrote the book on how to ride the industry. It's yours.
Loving. Well, just have to go to Barry, I think. That's better.
That's something I like to talk about. Specials.
It's a good one, then.
Well, I think we've both got a lot to say about the Specials. For me, there has never been or will never be a greater band on this planet, or another band that has influenced me so much, and which has also been a massive part of the Dub Pistols. And the fact that we got Terry Hall and Limble Golding to sing with us and perform with us and write with us will be probably the highlight of my career. It is the highlight of my career to date, but it's going to be a big thing to top. And anyone who's seen the recent Specials performances, they are just still, to this day, magical. They haven't sold out, they're not doing bird's eye commercials, they're not doing anything, they're still doing it for the right reasons. And they actually give us credit for actually helping them get the inspiration to reform, so they ain't going to get no better than that.
We were lucky enough to be the first, well, to play their first London show in 30 years as a support band, handpicked by them, and they were the biggest moment of my career for sure. You know, get that,
Terry,
get that accolade. You know.
I mean, just thank you guys. Thank you for the music. Thank you for being our friends, and
We love the Specials.
we love the Specials. Yes. That's all right. Thank you.
We have DJ set. That would have been handy. Drum and code. That's a good way to do an interview. Terry Halle Berry. Terry Hall. Terry Hall. Remember Terry Halle? The guy with the comet.
Yeah. Terry Hall even. He's a cunt. No, he's a fucking great guy.
Oh.
Being an alcoholic, Jason, how does that appeal to you? No, song for the summer.
Well, that's kind of like, was for us quite a departure to do that song with Ashley. Ashley wrote that with us. Let's do another one. Pick another one.